Jerry are in deep.
This is the last warning!
New crime doubles Monday and continuing Tuesday at 9 on BBC One.
Matters Medical in half an hour. In a change to the Build edition, Gabby Roslin and David Bull present Watchdog Health Check on BBC One. Now on BBC One, Best Inventions.
Hello and welcome to a new series of Best Inventions, the show that brings you tomorrow's inventions today.
Tonight, 3 inventors will battle it out to win a prize that will change their lives forever!
Well, I'm still searching for mine, but our inventors have not only been inspired, they've done something about it. Tonight, they're hoping to get a step closer to seeing their ideas hit the streets and maybe making some money along the way. It could all start for them on Best Inventions, but it's our audience they've got to convince. They'll be deciding on the winner and casting their votes later. So let's meet tonight's inventors. Alan, you're the man in the know. Give us the lowdown.
OK, Katie, they are Brett Coulton from North London. He's invented the Halo Kettle, a kettle that boils by the power of light and will add a touch of glamour to any kitchen. And Anne Winters and Ian O'Connor from Croydon take a single buggy, their specially designed bracket and a baby car seat. And hey presto, you have a double-decker 2-tier pushchair. And finally, Leroy Brown of Birmingham. He's invented the Air Jack, a gadget that makes jacking up your car or inflating a flat tyre as simple as pressing a button.
For a prize that would make all those hours locked in a darkened room worthwhile. But first they've got to prove that theirs is the best invention. First up, an alternative way of boiling water. When Brett dreamt up the Halo Kettle, he wanted it to be more than something you make tea with, more than something to just boil water.
Ooh, ah, ooh.
I was just thinking of how the sun heats up the sea. And so, therefore, I was thinking, you know, why can't light heat up water? I got some halogen lamps and I got an old coffee jug, and it did work, and I proved it.
Brett's dad spotted his son's eye for design at an early age and invited him to work in his engineering business.
Well, perseverance has impressed me the most. The way that he's stuck with it right through thick and thin. He's had lots of problems and he's resolved them.
Brett first worked on the kettle during his design degree at university, and he wasn't the only one in his house inventing things.
There was 5 of us, all designers, all blokes, and the place was quite a mess by the end of the year because we all had similar sort of projects on. The whole of the living room was just completely covered in scraps of paper and half-built models. It was a fairly design-crazy house.
The real work began, trying to turn the sketches into a seductive kettle. First problem, the jug. It needed to be heat-resistant, light and transparent.
When we first came in, we were sort of so surprised on the item which he was actually asking us to produce. It was so unusual for us to do a kettle.
But there's more to this glass than meets the eye. Brett's given it a special coating.
And that does 2 things. It reduces the limescale build-up, and it also holds in the light, because when the light comes up through the base, which would be clear, you've got these dark blue sides that hold in the light and therefore increase the efficiency of the lamp.
But it's not any old lamp. That was the next challenge.
The halogen lamp, now that's another story. He really had difficulty there.
Finding lamps not only that were powerful enough, but also I wanted them to be small enough to be in a kettle.
Exhaustive trawls across the world eventually turned up the perfect bulb, and armed with the elements for his Halo Kettle, Brett set about building it. 6 months and lots of cuppers later, Brett had the first prototype in his hands.
I remember him bringing it home, and he set it all up for us to see it working. and he switched it on and we waited and nothing happened. It took about 10 minutes, I think, to boil, and we weren't all that impressed.
3 years and £7,000 on from the first slow boil, the Halo kettle is almost kitchen ready.
I'd like to see this glowing halogen kettle in someone's kitchen. And until then, I'm probably not going to be, you know, very happy until it's done.
Brett, welcome to Best Inventions.
Thank you.
You know, I really do hope you're up for a win this tonight. But I tell you what, I've been looking at it. It is fabulous. You've done a fabulous job, really. I do mean that. I see a few inventions, you understand.
Yep.
Now, look, all I want to know, though, how far have we come along since the 10-minute boiling time?
Below 5 minutes, 4.5 minutes. You've got to have larger concentric bulbs in order to get the extra boiling time. So basically, you're increasing the wattage.
You obviously want to try and bring this into fruition in some way.
The next step for me is to find someone that will share my sort of vision to get this out onto the market.
Have you approached anybody yet?
I have approached several companies, yeah.
And what happened?
Lots and lots of interest. Really love the idea, but unfortunately...
Well, after this show, I'm sure you'll get the person coming forward. And well done.
Thank you.
Best of luck.
Now, in this envelope, Brett, I have got a prize for you that's been specially chosen for you. I know you're going to love it, but we're not going to tell you what it is just yet because we're very mean, aren't we, Alan?
We are indeed. We're not going to let on for now, but what I can say, Brett, is that if you do win tonight, everyone in the country will soon be able to make their morning cuppa using your Halo kettle.
I think there's a few people up here who could do with a cuppa right now. Mike, how many cuppas would you say you get through in a day?
Oh, about 3 or 4.
OK, and what do you think of this beauty down here?
I think it looks quite funky.
See, I think part of its attraction is how it looks, and it would just look so cool in the corner of your kitchen. What did you want to know, Mark?
Is it cheaper to use than a conventional kettle?
It is in the long run, because it reduces the lime scale build-up. As you know, metal elements like scale up fairly badly.
What was your question?
How much would something like this cost in the shops?
Yeah.
Well, it's a pretty exclusive kettle, so it's going to be a little bit more pricey than your normal kettle, but not too much.
You don't get away with that, I'm afraid, Brett.
No?
Give me some idea of what we'd have to part with.
I reckon about £70 mark.
About £70, OK. Big reaction from the audience there. It is a lot of money, but then it is a very stylish kettle. But talking all things commercial, if the Halo kettle takes off for Brett, it could earn him literally millions of pounds, just as this next invention did for its inventor when he thought of it over 40 years ago, before I was even born, and Trevor was only... This amazing Jersey house has been paid for by a single invention, worth an estimated £7 million. It's proof that just one simple idea can make a fortune.
The new Workmate will hold up to 1/4 ton securely.
The Workmate was inspired by Ron Hickman's need to build furniture.
I decided I wanted to make some hardwood bedroom cupboards, wardrobes, and various other things. And I started off working on a dining room chair, it's the only thing I had really, and ended up putting the saw through the seat of the chair, and I was pretty mad about that.
I remember it, he told me, but I also heard him before he came and told me, because he was cursing and swearing at what he'd done.
That damaged chair made Ron Hickman invent a safer way to work.
So I sketched up something more purpose-built and based, if you like, on the chair.
But it still needed some refinement. Ron's moment of genius was making the top of his workbench double up as a vice.
I suddenly realised that of the 2 fixed bars that I had forming my worktop, if only I could move one towards and away from the other, I could clamp anything into there, and that is how the giant vase concept came about.
But it was still a long road to getting the Workmate accepted. Ron approached 8 companies, but none took him up on the idea. Undaunted, he made his own and sold them by mail order. And 7 of those companies must still be kicking themselves. Eventually, of course, it would become the Black & Decker Workmate, indispensable tool for DIY enthusiasts the world over.
The new Black & Decker Workmate.
We believe that something over 60 million of the things have been made and sold around the world.
I I always felt that there was something there, and I never had second thoughts about it not working. I always thought that it would, although it might have been a lot of hard work getting there.
And a lot of that work was fighting to protect his idea. Ron won a staggering 20 cases for infringement of the workmate's patent. The most audacious was a copy made in Japan.
This Japanese copy here was identical in virtually every respect as this authentic licensed Black & Decker product. So initially, Black & Decker had to check around the world to see if one of their factories wasn't making it. As an own branded product, it had identical vice handles, identical vice bars, hole patterns, only the colour and the labelling was different.
But it wasn't being made in a Black & Decker factory, and the Japanese company was stopped from making any more. Ron Hickman has never matched the phenomenal success of the workmate, but that doesn't stop him continuing to try.
Oh, I wish I could pull off a trick like that again, but it's highly unlikely. I have to be realistic about that. But I'm working on a couple of secret ideas, so it just might have some similar potential. But that is a very, very rare degree of success.
Now, our next challengers on Best Inventions are Anne and Ian with their double-decker buggy, an invention that came out of necessity when Anne was expecting their second child. Now those babies are 1 and 2, but a year ago, transport was an issue.
If you speak to anybody with a double buggy or a tandem buggy, there's not often many complimentary comments that they will make. It's either that they're too cumbersome, too wide for a lot of doorways or shopping precincts. A particular problem I had from personal experience was that they wouldn't fit in the boot of my car. So unless it meant completely, with the additional costs of buggies, buying a new car, we were trying to find something as compact and attractive as possible.
Anne had the idea of a bracket so the baby's car seat could attach to the top of her existing pushchair. Then it was over to partner Ian.
So when she came to me with the idea, I thought, well, why not? I can give it a go. Basically, we looked at a strap mechanism for holding the car seat on top of the bracket. So we just unclip the straps, one across the legs and one round the back. What this does, this enables us now just to take the car seat and place it straight into the car. What we have here, this is the actual invention here, which is the bracket itself. It's a pretty crude model. At the moment it's got the screws in, but that'll all be replaced with rivets and everything.
With such fragile contents, safety was the most important thing to get right. Ian's heavy work bag took the place of a baby.
What I wanted to keep a weight which was consistent. So I placed the bag on top of here, and I filled this up with weights really, up to almost double the weight of what it would need. Because, you know, you don't want to take any chances at all.
Once Ian felt the design was good enough, they were ready to start using it. And a friend's advice came just in time to protect their newest creation.
Ian came to me and said, I've got this idea. And I looked at it, a bit sort of amazed at first. But I said, after realising that he got an excellent idea, that he better do something to protect it.
The couple applied for a patent and started using the buggy. It was an instant hit.
Most members of the public would approach me to say, oh, you know, what a great idea, or, you know, what will they think of next, thinking that I'd actually bought this. When I had a first child, I would get people stop and look and say, what a pretty baby, but definitely out with a double buggy, they were more inclined to be looking at the buggy rather than the boys.
And Anne's friend Julie has witnessed the excitement firsthand.
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, so many people came up to us, you know, where did you get it? And, you know, people saying if this is on the market, you know, I would definitely have another child because it's just so easy. But so many people, I just couldn't believe it everywhere we went.
My idea would be to see it out there on the shelves, people buying it, knowing that people are benefiting from something that we've come up with. And if it can give me a better standard of life at the end of the day, I mean, if I was rich, it'd be great. But if it was a better standard of life, then so be it.
Ian probably talks about it non-stop, most days, most nights, to the point of waking up in the nights to talk about it. I can probably put it on a back burner a little bit more and think, yes, it's something there that we're working towards, but I would probably think it takes up 90% of his time and a lot of my listening.
Well, Ian, Anne, I've got to congratulate you. Welcome to Best Inventions.
Thank you.
I've got a little question for you. I'm a little bit anxious about the stability of the vehicle. Can you explain a little more?
Yeah, basically, as far as stability is concerned, we've got no problems with that at all. It's all to do with the way that the car seat is actually positioned over the buggy with the centre of gravity. We actually used this product for about 6 months with our first 2 children. And before we started doing that, we insured it with heavy weights